What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Hockey Town University. You are here with us, your beautiful hosts, once again, Derek and Zach. Derek, frozen tundra once again, but it is a beautiful Sunday morning for us Detroiters. And why is that, Derek? Because you got the Detroit Lions doing their second home playoff game today at 3 p.m. against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Detroit Red Wings going against the other Tampa Bay counterpart, Tampa Bay Lightning, at 7 p.m. Derek, what's going on, buddy? You feeling just as happy, motivated, and I guess just excited as I am today?
I mean, I have a really good reason not to leave my house, minus the fact that everything's frozen again. I'm going right upstairs after this and just sitting in my front room and turning on games for like 8 hours straight, and it's going to be a great day for me. My girlfriend will hate it, but that's all right.
Yeah, I said the exact same thing. Once 3 p.m. hits, I'm locked in on the couch, not doing anything. No one calls me, no texts, no nothing. My mind is focused strictly just on the Lions and the Red Wings today. And so, Derek, yeah, hopefully to all those that are in Detroit, y'all stay safe, have fun. Derek, why don't we go ahead and kick things off? And what do we got today? So we're going to go ahead and recap the Red Wings versus the Florida Panthers game where the Red Wings did win 3-2. Barely, mind you that. But then you got the Red Wings versus the Carolina Hurricanes losing 4-2, unfortunately. And yes, you can't win them all, but the Red Wings are 6-1-1 in the month of January, which is awesome. Doing already way better than they did in the month of December. So good on them. We will also cover some Red Wings topics. Obviously, the main topics. That's the reason probably why you guys clicked on this episode. And then we will finish off with around the league news. And Derek, before we kick it off, you know the drill, right? Before we do, we want to stop and say thank you to all of us for stopping by, whether if you are returning or a new watcher or listener, however you find us on your services or platforms, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the follow button, rate us 5 stars, and also hit that thumbs up button. All of those really do go a long way for us getting out there in the world. Yes, we want to try and grow a little bit. We really do appreciate it. And Derek, we are inching closer to our 1-year anniversary. It's coming up pretty close here in 83 episodes deep. I think this is our 83rd episode and 261 subscribers currently and counting. And Derek, honestly, without them, we probably wouldn't be here still. Maybe. Who knows?
We would just be talking to ourselves at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if my mom watches, but my dad watches. At least that gets us one view. But Derek, let's go ahead and kick things off, shall we? With that intro being done, let's go ahead and recap the game against the Detroit Red Wings and the Florida Panthers, where the Red Wings did win 3-2, like I said. The last time, Derek, that the Red Wings beat the Panthers was back in February of 2021. Yikes. That's pretty brutal, especially when you play them at least, I think they play at least 4 times throughout the year, maybe 3. So that's, what do you take from that first off?
I mean, I feel like this is not the first team that we had to see a stat like this that we've played this year. I remember the LA Kings had a very similar stat that we ended up beating them against. So I just think it's this Red Wings team, man. We finally got some boost in our lineup. We're able to actually make some wins. Like you said, this month of January has been a lot better than the month of December, but you really couldn't have gotten much worse than December. So this is miles ahead of where we're supposed to be. But yeah, these are some crazy stats. The Red Wings are finally looking like a team that can pull something off. So it's a good thing to see, especially against the team that's sitting second in the division right now. So
yeah, and we're inching closer and closer up to them. But yeah, in terms of, it being since 2021, since our last win against the Florida Panthers, mind you, we were bottom of the barrel in the league for quite some time. So eventually, good things are bound to happen. And so good on the Red Wings for getting that win. But yes, continuing on, Alex Lyon, our savior, was in net once again. No Patrick Kane, no Jake Wallman still. This is his 3rd straight game missing due to illness. Must have been a pretty bad illness. Oh my goodness. But Raymond gets to play in his 200th game. Congrats to him. Alex Lyon was, once upon a time, a Florida Panther, and he single-handedly actually helped the Florida Panthers get into the playoffs. And eventually that's how they ended up becoming the runner-up for the Stanley Cup championship, making it to the finals last year. So good online for getting that tribute video from the Florida Panthers. Let's move on. No action after the first 10 minutes, really, other than some good back and forth action with a few good chances on each team. Wings are doing a good job getting in front of the Panthers in their net front, being past. It honestly was a chippy first period, Derek, by both teams. Wings did a fantastic job on in their own zone and in the neutral zone, which is something we haven't really been able to talk about as of late. And that was a huge Red Wings problem, was getting the puck out of their own zone. Line was locked in at this point. Going into the second period, both the Panthers and the Wings exchange power plays, but the Panthers get a shorthanded goal by Sam Reinhart. And
of course it's him.
Yeah, and we've seen this with the Red Wings, right? Where they've given up shorthanded goals on their power play, and that happened a lot in December, and this is something we've seen time and time again, right? And so, what do you think about the shorty, Derek?
I mean, it's something that shouldn't happen. It was a fumbled play by Larkin, unfortunately, at the blue line, and Reinhart got the puck and just let it rip right in. Like, don't want to see it, don't want it to happen, especially against our top power play unit out there, but hey, gotta come back from stuff like that, and luckily the Red Wings did this time. It's just, I can't remember most of the December ones. I try to block that month out at this point, so most of those games don't even exist to me.
Luckily, we're a team who doesn't have to keep living in the past. We're not a bottom barrel team to reflect on that, so let's just keep moving forward. And we did, just like you said in this game. After that, going back into the game, Lucas Raymond almost gets one, walks in on the defense. Then Perron and Raymond connecting, tic-tac-toe, Perron missing just barely, but wow, Derek, that was some fantastic playmaking right there, and there's a reason why Lucas Raymond and Perron are on the top line with Dylan Larkin currently, because of that connection that they had last season. But yeah,
that would be open net he missed that beach ball could fit in.
The beach ball could fit in. Yes.
I was looking at that shot. I'm like, how did he miss that? He somehow shot it under Bobrovsky. I'm like, he wasn't even in the net at that point. How did we miss that much? It was a free goal.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. But the Red Wings were able to convert with Rasmussen tipping the puck off a Mata shot. 8 minutes to go into the period. But then the Panthers did get one back quickly. Wings not able to clear the puck down the slot, and it's 2-1. But Line is coming in clutch on. Yeah, another turnover. Same song and dance, right? My favorite phrase, Derek. Lion is coming in clutch on some key saves here late in the second period, though, keeping it a close game going into the third. But the Wings give up a penalty with under a minute left. Thus, the Red Wings are entering on the penalty kill with 1 minute to go on that penalty kill. They were able to shut that down, and luckily Fabry was able to tie it up 2-2, going down the slot with a slick play by Rasmussen 6 minutes into the period. So good on them. They're actually coming back up against a really tough Florida Panthers team. Like you said, they're second in the division.
Good on Raz right now. This game for him was probably one of the best I've seen him play all season. I hope he keeps playing like this. He's using that body. He's getting in front of the net. He's doing exactly what I anticipated him to be like 2 years ago. Doing it right now in that game. And I want him to continue that because that's just good looks on him. And it's obviously producing for the team at this point. So I really can't argue. He's doing exactly what we brought him in to do.
It definitely seems like that he's picking off where he left off last season, right? This was right about when he was getting really hot last year, Derek, right before he got that injury, right? And so remember, yeah, Rasmussen had that injury where it took him out for the remainder of the season. Who knows how long of off-season ice training he had. He was back for training camp and everything, but it has taken him some time to get back to form. And this game really did show, yeah, he was using his body. He was getting really big out there and getting in front of the net, and he's been doing that lately. And it's good to see him doing that, and he needs to continue doing that, especially for this team that really does struggle getting in front of the net. So, yeah. Right after that, Florida tries to get one back, but Lyon makes a really nice key save. Lyon, like I said, he was locked in this whole entire game. I don't know if it was because it's against his former team, the Florida Panthers, but good on him. It's no surprise, right? He's been doing this all month of December. So 39 seconds left in the third, Derek. Wings get on the power play. But we go into overtime for some free hockey. 4-on-3 hockey. We love to see it. And because of that, Dylan Larkin calls game with a ripper to make it 3-2 Red Wings win. And by ripper, Derek, that absolutely was a ripper, going from the face-off dot kind of towards the slot, outside of the slot. And yeah, Ghost Bear just kind of going down the slot too, but across it to block the goaltender from seeing Dylan Larkin's shot. What did you think of that overall play?
I mean, I felt like that shot embodied all of Dylan's anger from how bad he was playing for the rest of the game. And he just put it all into that one snapshot because it rained past him over in the net. I was like, okay. Did not expect that much cheat on that shot, but I was like, I'll take it all day long. You just got us the win, Larkin. You made up for the entire night. It's okay.
No, 100%. And he ended up getting the first star of the game just by getting that overtime winner, too. Alex Lyon got the second star with a 1.97 goals against average and a 941 save percentage, Derek. I mean, the Florida Panthers, 34 shots on goal. Lyon had 32 saves. Red Wings had 29 shots on goal. So it was a pretty even tilted game for the most part. Even with the power plays, Red Wings had 3 opportunities. They converted on 1, which is nice. Yeah, shots were even, like I mentioned. And yeah, you're getting goals by players like Michael Rasmussen, who also got an assist in this game. I'm pretty sure he ended up getting no, he didn't even get the third star of the night, which is surprising to me. He gets a goal and assist, but doesn't get a star. But yeah, even someone like Mata got 2 points. And so I'm not going to question who the stars are. Great Red Wings win all round. Honestly, like you said, though, yeah, Dylan Larkin really did take out his frustration at the end there. He was like, I'm walking out here with a win. But really, honestly, Derek, good on the Red Wings for not allowing Matt Tkachuk to come in here and take control of the game, because I have him in fantasy too. And he was on a hot streak. At one point, he was at 6, I think it was like in 4 games, he had like 14 or 12 points or something like that. So entering today or that game, yeah, Matt Tkachuk was a worry for me. And Sam Reinhart, unfortunately, we did have to deal with him. But Alex Lyon, the defense did a really good job shutting down the Florida Panthers, and the team came out playing huge. Like you said, Michael Rasmussen was a huge part of that. I thought Ben Sherratt had a really nice game. He's been looking fantastic. I mean, all year round comparative to last season. So yeah, all around great win for them. And so that put the Red Wings into a really, really important spot in the standings, where they actually made it up into the 3rd spot in the Atlantic Division. And that really did not last too much longer, Derek, but it was a beautiful sight to see. You then looked at the standings where the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Tampa Bay Lightning were in the wild card spots, and the Red Wings were 3rd. It was chef's kiss all around, Derek. So looking at it now, before we go into the Canes recap, what did this mean for the fans and to this team, knowing that they were holding on to a 3rd spot, and then knowing that they pretty much do have a hold on to a wild card spot right now, and the wild card spot is for them to lose at this point? No one can take that away from them. It's theirs to lose.
I mean, it's just been so long since we've had a team that can do something like this, to have even the glimmer of hope to get us into the playoffs. So seeing that we hit that 3rd division spot and claimed it, even though it was for a day, I don't care, still makes up for it. It shows you that we have the potential to actually keep pushing forward. We can keep up with this team. Like, we just beat the 2nd division place team that's probably one of the cup favorites right now. Not many, but I would say Florida is definitely a cup favorite, just because of how much effort they're putting in, their win streaks, the potential they have,
100%.
what they did last year. Like, they have a chance to make another run, and the fact that we stopped them, that we didn't let any of the BS, all those fights that were happening, all those scrums, all those stupid little things that the refs were calling, because apparently have to take one extra person off one of the teams, and the Red Wings were that team. A lot of dumb penalties on that one, but it's gonna, I mean, just the morale for the Red Wings itself. Like, going into today, even though we may have lost to Carolina, we're at home against Tampa Bay, with Tampa Bay playing the Lions too.
Yeah, I agree with everything that you said there. Yeah, I mean, the Red Wings, really what stuck out to me most in this game is the fact that they didn't let the Florida Panthers bully them. The Florida Panthers definitely are a cup favorite team this year. solely alone because they made it to the Cup final last year. This team has a very, very deep defensive team. And they're very deep up front, too. Sam Reinhart, Matt Tkachuk, Sam Bennett, Gustav, like a bunch of players that you can name off on this team. Aaron Ekblad, like I said, I just keep on going. But good on the Red Wings. Yes, they did a fantastic job. And I really, not that they didn't do a fantastic job in this next game against the Carolina Hurricanes, but I wish it would have been a little bit more fantastic, Derek, because you and I both know what I'm going to say here is this was very, very much a very boring game to watch if you are a hockey fan in general, not even just a Red Wings or a Carolina Hurricanes fan. It very much embodied what we were worried about the Red Wings of the future, right? Are we going to be the Carolina Hurricanes where it's all defense or the Islanders where it's all defense? And it showcased in this game. The Carolina Hurricanes are very much a shutdown first team. They shut the hell out of us. I mean, we lost 4-2. Lines in net. Wallman's back in after missing 3 games, Derek. Petrie plays his 900th game. Costin is back in the game or on the team after missing some time as well. And he actually is the one who opens up the scoring for the Red Wings, squeaks one in the first minute and a half, basically. And
First shot, I'm pretty sure, too.
Yeah, it was a beautiful shot, Derek. I mean, it squeaked in. Good on Klim Kostin. I'm sure that felt really good coming back. So, Canes, though, Derek, they get one back quickly. Looked like there could have been interference with Alex Lyon there. What did you think about that? Did you kind of see what I'm talking about, where it looked like the Carolina Hurricanes player hit Lyon skates once that shot was going in?
I saw what it was looking like, but at the same time, I think Lyon might have just been too far out of the net for them to be able to actually call it either way. Because once he leaves that blue crease, it's kind of his own problem at that point, because that's his area, obviously. You can't touch him in there, but once anything goes out, even if you have pads in it, and that other pad's out, that pad out, it's going to get hit by the players that are scrimming in front of the net, so it's hard to really do anything about that call. I mean, I would have loved to have seen one, but there's a reason that we didn't see any, what's it called? What's the stupid coach thing that they do?
Coach's Challenge.
Yeah, Coach's Challenge, thank you. I wanted to say Coach's Review. I'm like, that's not right.
Same thing, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't see that, so they obviously noticed that it wasn't going to be anything worth doing, not worth getting a 2-minute penalty for, so it is what it is. It just sucked that it happened so quickly, back to back, and then I guess, Zach, you can go and explain what happened for the rest of the period and a half after that.
The Red Wings were going up against Antti Raanta, who the Carolina Hurricanes have had very much bad luck with goaltending this year. Their goaltending has not been the greatest, but they're very much a defense shutdown team. So that definitely helps them out, and that's the reason why they're high up in the Metropolitan, right? In their own division. But yeah, like Derek said, Raanta almost gives one up midway through the first and gets pretty lucky it didn't go in after taking a bounce off the backboards behind the nets. Snooze fest, half of the first period. Wings got 3 shots the whole entire period. On the Nats, Canes had 8. Going into the second period, Wings had a golden opportunity for a 3-on-1, and Sprong just loses control of it, Derek. And the Canes almost get an opportunity coming back after that. What happened on that 3-on-1? I know that Sprong kind of lost the puck, but when you have that sort of opportunity, in your mind as a forward, what's the first thing that you do? Do you just rip it when you have that kind of opportunity? Or are you just trying to play a tic-tac-toe situation to mess with the mind of a Antti Raanta?
Well, if it was our first line or second line out there, I'd say they have a little bit more opportunity to do a tic-tac-toe. When I have Spruns coming down the ice with the puck on a 3-on-1 against Raanta, who we got to remember was put on waivers just a little bit ago, cleared waivers, and now is back on the team playing because Carolina literally has no other kind of goalie to put in right now. Obviously, as we see them getting all these goals on very few shots, so at that point, Sprun has a good shot. You have two other people crashing that net. Just rip that thing at that point. The goalie most likely not going to save it. If he does, it's Rantana. He's going to leave a big-ass juicy rebound. That's why you have two people crashing the net. I feel that the Red Wings are still try to play above where their skill level's at. We have a good set of players, but they just got to remember what they can do at those times, especially like that. Just get it on the net. That's all the Red Wings needed this game is pucks on the net, and we just really couldn't produce that at all.
Yeah, 100%, Derek. I agree with you. I think in a situation like that, you definitely have to just rip the shot, right? Especially in a game where I haven't said this yet, but yeah, the Red Wings finished with 12 in this game. So you should have just taken the shot. Take any kind of shot that you can get. I get it that you want to try and get a little creative. And is that something that the Red Wings are trying to do? You mentioned that the Red Wings are trying to play above their skill level. Is that because Patrick Kane is out? Do you really think that they are trying to do that? Or
I feel like we just have a few players that are able to play at that skill level, as in Patrick Kane, Larkin, DeBrincat, maybe Raymond at some times. But then you have all these other players who are just those grinders who can get the job done and are good at what they do, but they're seeing these other players and the lack of them being on the lineup right now. So I can see why they want to try to do a little extra. We just don't need it. Just do exactly what you know how to do. It's been working, especially for Sprung, Comfort, Costin, Jesus. They do exactly what they do. They grind it out down there. They beat down those lines. They get it up in front of the net, and they just have to shoot it. None of that fancy stuff has really been working for them all year. All their goals come from them literally grinding down and taking those shots at the net. So I don't know why you'd want to try to make a fancy move like that or do anything. We just need shots. The numbers need to be there, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. There it is, Zach. I remembered.
good on you, Derek. I love it. Yeah, and what's that song? Shots, 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 shots. The Red Wings should have listened to that song during each intermission to get them more pumped up. But Derek, going into the second period, yeah, Wings took damn near 10 minutes to get a shot in the second period. Yikes, really bad. Yeah, and then yikes as well to really bad defense by Mata leads to Necas scoring to take the lead 2-1. Wings head to a power play with a minute left in the second, but the Wings do convert. Comfort gets his 10th of the year on the power play with a nice pass and play by Dylan Larkin. Tie game 2-2 going into intermission. Canes are out shooting the Red Wings 8-16, Derek. So we got 5 shots. Nice. We love to see that. That's two more than what we got in the first. Yep, 2 goals, 8 shots. That's great percentages right there.
I mean, I'm seeing why Ransom was on waivers.
Yes, there is a reason why. But Derek, 3-2 Canes on the power play with a shot down the middle, tipping off a player's skates, and then tipped again going in. Wallman was there, but couldn't tie up the player to stop the goal. It was a backdoor goal. It was a weird, bouncy puck situation. I really can't blame Wallman, but Wallman definitely has to do a little bit better at tying up that player. I get it that you've been out for 3 games, but no excuses. Wings down 3-2. What do you think about that, Derek?
Bad bounces, lucky tip. I'm pretty sure went through Lions 5-hole. Like, it's just a bunch of stuff you don't want to see happen that all happened all at once. And usually if it goes through the 5-hole off a tip like that, the goalie can't really do much about it. It's just a deflection. You just got to pray for the best at that point. Wallman, I wish he would have covered a little bit better down on. I think it was Svechnikov that scored that goal. So good player, good hands. Just wish it wouldn't have gone in because that was pretty much our nail in the coffin at that point.
Yeah, it was. Canes then go up 4-2 because Lalone took 4 years to pull line and create a chance to get the tying goal. Yeah, the line
like a minute and a half left.
Yeah,
I think I texted you saying he pulled the goalie at like 5.5 minutes. I'm like, you know what? Roy's back in the league. He'd like to do that on Colorado. Let's do it here on the Red Wings too. 5 minutes can't hurt.
You had nothing to lose, and majority of that time after like you said, there was 5 minutes left. Majority of that time you were spending it in the Kane zone. So there was no reason why you shouldn't have pulled the goalie. Especially when you have no shots on net. I don't care if they score and make it 4-2 when there's 4 minutes left, but they made it 4-2 when there was a minute and 20 or 16 seconds left. So 15 seconds after you pulled the goalie. So you just really shot yourself in the foot by doing that. So I'm kind of mad at Lalone for not pulling Lyon sooner when he should have, especially when you finish the game with 12 shots on net compared to the 30 that Carolina had on you. So Alex Lyon, once again, had to save the team where, granted, he only made 27 saves and his save percentage was under a 900, but he was by far the best player on this team. It could have been a lot higher scoring game had Lyon not been in net. Personally, that's my opinion. Yeah, I'm mad at Lalone for not pulling Lyon sooner to try and get more scoring opportunities. But also, Derek, the Red Wings kind of did have plenty of ample opportunities to score. They just weren't putting the puck on net enough. I mean, there were a couple opportunities where the puck just went wide and they had open net opportunities. They just couldn't convert.
It was just a rough game. I mean, it wasn't a rough game to watch. It was, like we said, it was a boring one. It was a purely defensive game, and obviously we knew that was going to be going up against Carolina because that's literally all they have right now. That's literally why they have Rantanen in net, who lets in 2 goals every 10 shots, because they don't let that many shots go.
Yep.
They're defensively minded. They're good at it. And the Red Wings, unfortunately, don't have the skill set to power past them or the mindset to remember just to shoot the damn puck nonstop on the net. It's like, it's not going to work the same like other teams. They are literally, it was pure defense. They have some good offensive players, obviously, like Aho, Svechnikov, and whatnot up there who can easily score. Ness is back. But, man, we missed out on a key thing that we needed to do, and that was pretty much a difference in the game right there, is the shots. It was a back-and-forth game, but no shots, no goals.
Yeah. I mean, one bright spot in this game, Larkin continues his point streak, I guess. But yeah, you mentioned some key names. I mean, all the Carolina's best forwards came out to play. Martin Necas scored. Andrei Svechnikov scored. Sebastian Aho scored. Where are our best players coming in to score? Okay, we got Clint Costin, we got JT Comfort, and we got Dylan Larkin getting an assist. Alistair Brickhead has been cold for quite some time, too, and so, yeah, he was very quiet in this game, too. JT Comfort kind of has been quiet as of late, too. He's getting assists. I haven't seen a goal from him, obviously, in quite some time. After this game, or he did get one in this game, but beforehand, it was quite some time, I felt like, since we've seen a goal from him. He got his 10th, but good on him for getting that, but overall, Derek, just this team played poorly defensively and left Lyon out to dry again. It's the same song and dance. Even with wins, I feel like that the Red Wings do that to him. And so, however, this team just did very little to produce offensively with the bad defense, with Carolina shutting them down majority of the game. And yeah, with a few key missed opportunities throughout the game, like I said, you can't win them all, but this easily could have been at least a point earned had they tightened up better towards the end of the game. And then you lost out on Ben Sherratt this game too, which really was a huge blow to your defense. So, like I mentioned right before the Florida game or during the Florida game when we reviewed it, Ben Sherratt has been really good so far this season compared to last season. So that was a huge blow to him. He plays really huge. He's a rough and gritty guy out there. He literally could be a Detroit Lion today. It was a huge miss for sure. Never thought that I would be saying that. Matt would probably be disagreeing with me, but yeah, I think that was a huge blow to the Red Wings here in this game. But yeah, huge point missed. I think, Derek, overall aspects about the game in your view?
Red Wings need to do better. I feel like anytime we lose 2 more players, we start collapsing on ourselves, and we're out Patrick Kane and Sherratt, so yeah, there's 2 players. This is a team. Yeah. I mean, we obviously have the tools to beat Carolina, I think, personally. We just have to utilize them and make sure we actually play the game of hockey that the Red Wings know how to play right now. And it's not this conservative defensive BS, and you can't play that for a whole game especially since the Red Wings are probably one of the worst at playing preventive defense.
I would agree with you there. Like I said, same song and dance, right? It seems like it's every episode that we talk about, and it seems like it's every game, right? Like I said, lately, they've been keeping it under 3 goals allowed in the month of January. This is finally the first game that they allowed 3+ in the month of January. But Line didn't let all 4 in, so that's at least a good aspect to look at it. But continuing on, Derek, upcoming games, Lions versus Bucks, 3 p.m. today. By the time you guys watch this, hopefully the Lions have won. The Wings do play against the Lightning tonight at 7 p.m. More than likely, this game has already happened, and we have won, and we regain our 3rd spot in the Atlantic because now we are in the 2nd wildcard spots. And the Tampa Bay Lightning did play last night, Derek, so I think with the Lightning coming to us and them playing last night, I think the Red Wings will have a good, ample opportunity to secure a dub today to earn back that 3rd spot in the Atlantic Division. And then Tuesday, the Red Wings do go up against the Dallas Stars at 7 p.m. We will be recording the next day on Wednesday with Matt Leslie, our other host. So stick around, find out what that episode will look like. So Derek, I think we're good on the recaps of the games, buddy, but let's go ahead and jump into some Red Wings news, the minimum that we got. With the win against the Toronto Maple Leafs, the Red Wings tie 5th longest point streak since 08-09 and are battling for that 3rd spot in the Atlantic between them and the Lightning. So they did. So that's great to see, right? And so, yeah, I think I could honestly just leave this one out. I don't know why this one was in here. So Red Wings news. Wings and Toledo Walleye extend affiliation for the next 3 years. You love to see it. Those games and fans are insane in a good way. You'd probably agree with me, Derek. You went to a game with me. This is a great
I've been
thing.
going to the Walleyes since they were the Storms, man. I played out on that ice. I am a little bummed that, it wasn't the Kalamazoo Wings over here that I could just, take 5 steps and go watch them. That'd be awesome.
Right.
I mean, I do that anyways, but I feel like it'd just be a little more fun if, the Red Wings were attached to them. But I'm happy.
I agree. I'm happy.
I think the Walleye are just destroying the league this year like they did last year. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't want to extend it at this point. They've just been way too good not to, so.
And speaking of the Toledo Walleye, Brandon Hawkins in the All-Star game for the ECHL with those lacrosse-style goals, Derek, those were fun to see.
That was so hot. I've been watching. It's been on repeat on my stream for like the last week now. I'm like, I'm not upset watching that shot. That's just pretty.
In other news, Nate Danielson makes his start with the Portland Winterhawks this last Wednesday night, playing on the top line against Tij Iginla. Does that last name ring a bell to you, Derek?
A little bit. Explain to me why.
Jerome Iginla?
Oh, yeah.
So his son, Jerome Iginla, is that old, and that's how old we are. Yes, Derek. So Nate Danielson versus Tij, I don't know how to pronounce it, Iginla, and the Kelowna Rockets. I believed I pronounced that right. But Danielson in this game, he records 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points, Derek, and he was playing on the top line in his first game with the highest scoring team in the WHL. In the 3 games that he has played so far, he has 2 goals, 2 assists, and 4 points. What a hot start for Nate Danielson.
I mean, heck,
we thought this was going to happen, right?
I was hoping this was going to happen. When you get traded to the WHL team that has the most points in the league, I'm like, okay, you're getting traded from the worst team to one of the best teams. That's a good thing to see for a Red Wings prospect. And then I'm pretty sure that he has 4 games now. I just looked this morning, and I'm pretty sure he's still at 5 points now. Then he's like over a point per game since he started. I love it. This is exactly what we needed to see from him. He's on a good team. He's going to be able to showcase his skills and actually have people who are going to help him pretty much extravagate the skills that he already has. So,
yeah, and we've seen Nate Daniels' defensive game, right? We've seen very little of his offensive game. I mean, us as Red Wings fans, we've seen it, right? We saw him do that during training camp, the offseason, during the preseason games. But now we get to see it in action against his peers. We got to see a little bit of it, I guess, during the World Junior Championship, but he was sheltered on the third and fourth line, and I guess sheltered isn't really the right word to use. He was bummed down there, personally, I think, and so this is a great way for Nate Danielson to react. Hey, I'm going to a better team. It opens up multitudes is the right word that I can use, of doors for him to explore the kind of player that he can be offensively. This is exactly what we needed to see, and good on him for taking advantage of this situation. And I think this is only going to open up more multitude of doors for him down the road as we enter into next season, Derek, and maybe he finds a spot on the Detroit Red Wings. I don't know. I really think that he starts off with the Griffins, top 6 with the Griffins. He can play shutdown and he can produce. It's going to be a tough decision going into next season. So, but continuing on, Derek, David Pagnotta says Red Wings assistant general manager Sean Horkoff and another scout for the Red Wings were at the Bruins versus the Colorado Avalanche game last Thursday. Are you going to take anything away from this?
No.
Yeah, I'm not going to take anything away from this. I think this is just a person doing their job and just going out and doing some scouting and just doing their legwork, right? I don't think a deal is in place. I don't think a trade is in place. I don't think there's any rumors that you could take away. So, still interesting to hear. I don't know why David Pagnotta decided to tweet that out there, but he did. And he got some Red Wings fans rumbling on Twitter. So, good on him and doing some great work on that. And so, Derek, this kind of puts us into our main topics now, where we kind of talk about trade rumors and targets, and they're not. 2 of these aren't really targets for the Red Wings. They can be, and they're not really rumored to go to the Red Wings, but we're gonna make it a rumor here, right? Because we like to have fun, and so Pierre LeBrun speaks on the Nashville Predators and Juuse Saros. This is quoted. What has changed since the start of the year is the number of teams that are desperate to upgrade their goaltending. We all know this. This is true. Goaltending is a huge sore spot for a lot of teams in the NHL right now. And I'm told because of that, the Predators feel they have no choice but to at least listen if a team puts in a serious offer. He then goes on to give an example of what a serious offer would look like for the Nashville Predators to actually listen. He doesn't say that this is actually out there, but uses this as an example. Quinton Byfield from the LA Kings, if they were interested in a Juuse Saros, that would be a start to start talking about a potential trade. What would you think if the Red Wings went out to try and target a Juuse Saros? Do the Red Wings even have a player that's in the same ballpark as a Quinton Byfield, Derek? And a Quinton Byfield, if you don't remember, was a second overall draft pick in the 2020 draft, the Lucas Raymond draft. He was the youngest player drafted at the age 17. I believe he would be 20, maybe 21 now. And he's projected to be a top 6 center in the NHL. And this season, he is playing pretty good so far. So, yeah, is this something that the Red Wings could do? Do the Red Wings even have the capability to offer something that is equivalent to even a Byfield?
On our roster right now, I would have to argue that we don't. Maybe the closest thing we have is Raymond. But Raymond's not going to be what gets a Saros. That's not going to be the opening thing like a Quinton Byfield would be. At that point, the Red Wings would probably have to toss in like a first-round prospect at that point. Maybe a first-round pick, too. I mean, I feel like the end of the run, if everyone's going to actually make a run for Saros, there's going to be a first-round pick involved, along with either a top prospect and a good player, or a great player and a normal prospect. I feel like there's going to be a few key pieces in there that you're going to give up. And that's what, I mean, Red Wings do have that on the back end, I guess. Not as much as we used to anymore, but we already lost our first-round pick one of our first-round picks for next year, and we don't want to lose another one. But, man, it's hard to picture what we could actually give up that would get a return for a Saros. Obviously, right now, with how Lions playing, I'm pretty content, but we can't just have Lion do this nonstop for another 50 or 40 games. We saw what happened to Juuse when we did that to him. He fell off the rails.
Yeah, and a little background on UC Saros. So UC Saros is 28 years old. He was born in 95. Derek will say he's 5'10", but Cap Friendly has him at 5'11", 180 pounds. He was a 2013 draft pick, drafted 4th round, 99th overall, Derek. That's pretty crazy, and the rest is history from there. He's currently on a 4-year deal, $5 million each. After the season, he has one more year left. $5 million a year is very, very, very team friendly. And so if you were to go out and trade for a UC Saros, you are giving up quite a lot. Yes. And then you would have to at least hope that you can re-sign him if he's willing to do that, because he would be an unrestricted free agent then. But talking about his numbers overall, UC Saros this year, 18 wins and 36 games played, 2 shutouts, 2.97 goals against average, and a .902 save percentage. Not the greatest numbers this season. Nashville Predators have not really been the greatest team either. Pretty sure that they're in a wild card spot currently, or maybe just underneath that. But his career numbers are fantastic, Derek. In 322 games played, he's got 165 wins, just over 50%, right? About 55% right there. 22 shutouts. That's a lot. 2.62 goals against average and a .918 save percentage for his career. Now that number is a number that I would be targeting, right? And that is something that the Red Wings can use. But you brought up Alex Lyon. Right now, would it make sense for the Detroit Red Wings to go out for a UC Saros? Yes and no. You have Lyon. You ride the hot hand. Maybe wait to see how Ville Husso is coming back. The cost to get a UC Saros? The Red Wings don't have a Quentin Byfield, Derek. The next best one would probably be Nate Danielson. That's our best comparison that we have right there, is the center that can play both ways, be a shutdown player and a point producer. That's exactly what Byfield is projected to be in. Byfield is a big boy, and so is Nate Danielson. Nate Danielson's already over 200 pounds, well over 6 feet tall. Marco Casper ain't it. It's not Lombardi.
Oh,
it's not Lucas Raymond. You could even argue that even if you said Nate Danielson's name, you'd probably still have to throw in someone like an Edvinsson, or even like a first round draft pick, like you mentioned. And I don't think that first round draft pick would even get it done, because that would be a late round pick if UC Saros came onto your team and took you pretty far into the playoffs. So would I love a UC Saros? Of course. Am I going to trade for him and give up this example, like Pierre LeBrun said? The talk starts with a Byfield. The Red Wings just are not there yet, Derek. I'm sorry. I just cannot imagine that Steve Yzerman is like, yeah, I want to give up my potential top left-handed defenseman and my potential top 6 center of the future to get a goaltender that could be good for us for the next, hopefully, 8 years. But you're getting him for the one. I just don't think the Red Wings are quite there yet, Derek.
I mean, to sweeten the deal, I'll toss Reimer in there too. You could take him.
Oh,
you guys need an extra goalie, so there you go. There's your backup.
You guys can have him. Yes, just take him. It's a little sweeter.
We'll keep the
yes,
cap
almost...
too. You know what? He's a free goalie. We'll keep the cap. Just send the Saros. We don't care.
At that point, they probably just want to use the washing machine instead. So, but Derek, yeah, that's what I have for UC Saros, and we got 2 more, so let's keep it moving. So word on the street is, and Sens fans might hate me for this, that Jacob Chychrun might not want to be a longtime Ottawa Senator. Steve should probably get calling, but Derek, are we really surprised that another Ottawa Senator player would even say something like this, if it is true?
I mean, nope. Have you seen that place? Oh my God, Ottawa is pretty much, I mean, it's not as bad as it was, but man, they are still working their way out of a giant hole that the previous association put them in. They got a new GM, they got the new head coaches, but man, everything, these organizations, you got to remember, work from the inside out, and that inside was so corrupted for a long time. And it's been years, but it takes even longer to pretty much fix everything that was destroyed by them. And at this point, that team is still suffering. They're not doing well. They're nowhere near what they were projected to do this year. And I'm going to guess it's probably going to be a continuous thing for them for the next year or two, just because of how everything's structured there. So, surprise? Not at all. Why would you want to be a good player on a team that's pretty much just trying to rebuild its organization, just not its team itself?
Yeah, and before people get offended by what Derek said, calling Chychrun a good player, he is a good player. He just unfortunately has been injury ridden for a majority of the seasons that he's played, and minus this season, where this would potentially be his first full season playing 82 games. I believe he's got 41 so far. I'm not sure how many games total that the Ottawa Senators have played. I can check that real quick, obviously, so I will. Yeah, he's played every single game for them so far this year. But a little background on Jacob Chychrun. 25 years old, born in 98, March 31st. His birthplace is Boca Raton, Florida. I could have sworn someone told me that he was born in Ottawa. Whoever told me that, you're absolutely wrong. It says it right here on Cap Friendly, but he's 6'2", 210 pounds, shoots left. Derek, we almost drafted this guy. I don't know if you remember when we traded Datsuk to the Arizona Coyotes and we got Dennis Cholowski instead, and this is who the Arizona Coyotes drafted, was Jacob Chychrun. So he could have been a Detroit Red Wing. He was drafted 16th overall in the first round back in 2016. He's currently on a 6-year contract worth $4.6 million. Very, very, very team friendly. After the season, he does have one more season at $4.6 million with a move no trade clause, which means basically that he does have somewhat of control where he does go. Derek, though, this season in 41 games, he has 7 goals, 19 assists, 26 points. He is a minus 13 on a 8th team Atlantic Ottawa Senators team. His best season came from 2020-21 in 56 games. He put up 18 goals, 23 assists, 41 points. That 18 goals for any defenseman is a lot. So he's a very good player. He just unfortunately has been injured quite a few times. Like, we said, he hasn't played a full season. Maybe he has in one of these seasons where it was shorted because of COVID, the 19, 20, and then 2021. I have to look back. But yeah, he's going to play a full season this year. You going to go out and try and get Chychrun if you could, if the rumor is true?
Obviously, our defense needs some help. The left side, not as much as our right side, obviously. And the fact is, I want Edvinsson up. So at that point, we need to make 2 spots on our line, kicking one of our left-handed Ds, basically out, or moving them to the right side. But then again, we have to make room for Edvinsson to come up on the right side too. So, do I want the skill? Yes, I kind of would like to have somebody back there. That way, Sider could actually start producing the way he's supposed to produce instead of just banking all these minutes and being the defensive defenseman that the Red Wings technically need right now. But if it was suitable for us, yes, I'll do it. Depending on what they're asking and what we have to give up. Like, if I can just swap him out like a Mata for a true, yeah, sure. I'm cool with that. I'll take that all day.
I would too. If I could give up Mata and maybe like a second for Chychrun, I would definitely, absolutely do that. I'm banging on the table and running away as quickly as possible. But this is the Ottawa Senators we're talking about, Derek. And so I guess the reason why I asked you if this is something that we could go after, and then you brought up value, what it could take. Is this a situation where if the rumor is true that he does not want to be there, is this just another Alex DeBrincat situation where you just give him a late first round and then give him a ready now player and a B-level prospect and call it good? I kind of feel bad for Chychrun. I really do think that he's a really good player. I just think he is in a unfortunate circumstance where the Ottawa Senators just really don't know how to utilize their players very well. I mean, they did it with Alex DeBrincat, and now they're kind of doing it with Chychrun, where they have too many left-handed defense players, and they have him play top line on the right-handed side, where he is a left-handed shooting defenseman. So Is this an opportunity where the Red Wings can kind of come in? Steve just kind of uppercuts them once again, like he did with Alex DeBrincat?
I mean, I'd be happy to see it. I'm not gonna lie. And if he really wants out of there that bad, like DeBrincat did, Ottawa's pretty much screwed again. Like, they're digging their own grave at that point. They got to take what they can get for him because it won't be a lot. Especially if he comes out and says, "I want to leave," and even worse, so if he says, "I want to go to Detroit," because then that's a really good day for us. And Steve's gonna be like, "Well, here's the offer. Sign it, and we're done."
Yeah. In terms of if the trade value is what it was similar to an Alex DeBrincat, you might be able to throw in an Ole Mata at that point to fill in the gap. But I would assume that the Sens, their fans, are at least going to say, "Well, we need a right-handed defenseman. That's the issue of us right now. That's why we're trading at Chychrun, is because we have too many left-handed D and we need right-handed D." Well, guess what? When a player doesn't want to be with you anymore and is requesting to move on, you don't get what you want. You get what you're given. And that's what happened with Alex DeBrincat. You all thought you were going to get a 30-goal scorer with Dominic Kubalik. Pretty sure he's under 10 goals this season, Derek. I'm pretty sure he's not doing very well for them. So then you got Donovan Sabrango still playing in the AHL for them. No offense to him. He can still be a bottom pair defenseman, maybe seventh defenseman in the future. And then you got the late first round pick that's going to be Boston's pick, which is looking to be going into the 26th to 32nd pick range if everything goes well for Boston in the playoffs. So, yeah, if that's how it's going to end up working out, Derek, Steve better be calling right now. I would be making that deal. But like you said, we have an Evanson that we do want to bring up. And so maybe this doesn't make sense right now, but a lot of teams will be restructuring going into the offseason with the cap going up. And so I think that would be an ample opportunity for Steve to be exploring a trade with the Ottawa Senators once again. So, Derek, let's move on to the last one. And we've kind of already touched on Zegras. You weren't on the episode, but I did it with Matt. But Shayna Goldman from The Athletic says Wings are one of the 6 suitors for Trevor Zegras. First of all, do you think this is true or false? Do you think Trevor Zegras could be a good fit? And then second of all, what do you think of Trevor Zegras and how would he fit in with the Detroit Red Wings?
Oh, let's see. That's the fun one to go off. Like, could we use him on our team? Probably. He would make a great second line center at this point. We would have to do some restructuring of our centers, that's for sure, because we have so many of them right now. But you just can't say no to the talent that the kid brings to the actual ice. It's definitely different than what the Red Wings have. It's a different style of game. We are definitely not the showboaty type here, but he definitely is. I mean, heck, we brought Patrick Kane on. Obviously, Showtime isn't the same Showtime he was back when he was Trevor Zegras' age. Very similar players, actually. Zegras just has a little bit more of a spark to him, I would say. A little bit more of the Showtimey Showtime, but man, but bringing him over, like, would it be good? I think it would be a good fit for the long run, especially once he develops his game a little bit better. I think he just needs to be put with players that are better than what he has right now. But it's really weird. Just his type of game and the Red Wings aren't usually what go together. I think the last person we had someone similar to that was Dotsik, but his game was so pure that you couldn't even argue it. You just let the Magic Man do what he wanted.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. I think that's a pretty decent comparison. I'm not going to sit here and say Zegras is the next Pavel Datsyuk. I would definitely say that Zegras is pretty similar to a Patrick Kane too, but Patrick Kane is closer to Datsyuk than Zegras is. But yeah, no, very similar players. I think that's a really good comparison to make, Derek. They're both very Showtimey players where they like to make the pretty plays, right? Where they are the magicians out on the ice, where you're like, how in the heck did he actually get that pass through? Or how did he get that puck on his stick to do a Michigan move like that? How did he get it off so quickly? And so you brought up him potentially playing as a 2C down the line. Maybe if he works on his defensive game a little bit, and maybe that's partial to playing with the Anaheim Ducks. You truly never know. And you brought up, playing with talent. He plays, you can make the argument he does play with talent currently with McTavish, Neil Carlson, and a couple other players. He had Drysdale for a little bit.
Very young talent, though.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, very young talent, though. And that could partially be the issue, too. And it's no surprise that the Anaheim Ducks are still very much in a tank mode, quote unquote, right? Without saying it. So maybe Pat Verbeek has a change of heart where he is kind of taking a page out of Yzerman's book where, hey, I didn't draft you. I want this to be my own team. So he's already moved on from Drysdale. And I brought this up when I spoke about it with Matt to where, yeah, it's the same page out of Yzerman's book where he's moving on from players like Mantha, Athanasiou, Hronek. He didn't draft any of those players, so he has no ties with them. But a little background on Trevor Zegras. He does come from the Moritz Seider draft. He was drafted a couple picks after Moritz Seider at 9th overall in 2019 in the first round. He currently is on a $5.75 million contract that did kick in this year, Derek, and it is active for another 2 years. So I think that's a team-friendly deal right there for a very young player who is not even 23 years old yet. He'll be 23 in March. In his 4 seasons that he has played, 200 career games, 53 goals, 93 assists for 146 points. This season, he's been injured. He currently is injured in 20 games. He has 4 goals, 3 assists for 7 points. Yeah, I would love to have a Trevor Zegras. I'm not having him play center, though. If I'm going out and trading for him, I'm letting him play wing. I think that's just a better spot for him, especially when we have Larkin, Comfer, Kopp, Grass, Veleno currently. I don't know what the team's outlook is going to be next year with the center depth, but yeah, I'm putting Trevor Zegras on the wing, and if you could put him on the third line or the second line, I think that's a really good spot for him, and you can learn a lot from a Showtime Patrick Kane if you're Trevor Zegras. And if I'm the Red Wings, I'm kind of looking at that and I'm salivating over the fact that if I can keep Patrick Kane for another 2 years after I just got out of Trevor Zegras, I think you're going to have a lot of fun down the line with all the young players that you have, especially in your pipeline. But Derek, the cost to get a Trevor Zegras, it might be too sweet for the Red Wings. I mean, this is someone, like I said, 9th overall pick. Definitely a top 6 player of the future who has the potential to be an 80-plus point player. I mean, the offensive skill is there. So is this something that the Red Wings should really be interested in exploring, even if it does cost a really good prospect and a high pick?
I think it is, due to the fact also that I know Trevor Zegras and their GM don't really, whatever his GM is, I can't remember who the Anaheim's GM is, but I know they don't really have the same viewpoint of the game. Like, they're very different. Like, obviously, Trevor Zegras, very showtimey, very up and celebrating. Obviously, he likes those big moves, which obviously we always got to remember, too. We do see all those highlight reels of Zegras' goals, but those are the ones that he makes. He tries that stuff a lot, and it doesn't really work all the time. So,
Correct.
obviously, the movement's cool. It has to work, though. And obviously, the GM sees that over there in Anaheim. It's not really working out for them. They're not that established team that could use a player like that, I don't think, yet. Obviously, in like 3 or 4 years, that team probably going to be ungodly stacked with all these young guys coming in, especially with that trade from Philly. Like, you may have lost Drysdale, but you got a player that's probably going to be on your team forever. Let me tell you. Like that kid, Jesus.
Yeah, get it. Yeah, Cutter Gauthier.
That situation.
Yeah, Cutter Gauthier for Jamie Drysdale was insane. And so that just even tightens the leash that you have, on a Trevor Zegras, I think. I think Zegras kind of feels a little bit of the pressure now because Cutter can play center, McTavish can play center, Leo Carlson can play center. At that point, you could push Trevor Zegras over to the wing, but like you said, and even the Anaheim Ducks coaches in the past have said, like, hey, like, we really love the style that he brings to the game, but the cuteness has to stop eventually. He even admitted, he's like, when I just see the opportunity, I just can't resist it. I feel like I have to do it because it's just so embedded in my brain. And so, yeah, somehow, some way, Zegras has to break it in his mind that, like, not every play has to be this beautiful lacrosse style goal play, right? Or has to be one end to the other type of pass or anything like that. Just play a real simple game, and that's all you need. And it'll all come to you eventually over time. How much more leeway do the Ducks have with Trevor Zegras? I really don't know. Pat Verbeek is the general manager, Derek, just to remind you there. But yeah, he was the assistant general manager for the Red Wings. And so him and Steve really do have that connection. And so I would not be surprised if Verbeek says, like I said, takes a page out of Yzerman's book saying, hey, I didn't draft you. I don't really like your style of play. I'm moving on from you. But then in that case, when I say that, why would Yzerman be interested in a Trevor Zegras then at that point, right? If he's kind of the same way. Yzerman doesn't really look like someone who puts up with much BS, right? If at all. I mean, it's Stevie Bong rips for Pete's sake that we're talking about here, right? And so, yeah, Trevor Zegras would be a good fit. Do I think Steve Yzerman is going out to get him? No. Personally, I do not. I want him, but I don't think Steve is going to get him because I don't think that he is the type of mold that Steve Yzerman likes. I think kind of like following along what you said, Derek, I think not only his on ice methods of play, but also kind of the off ice character, not issues, but just how he is as a person, I guess. I mean, he is just a kid, and he is having fun, and I said this to Matt too, but yeah, I don't know, just kind of are kids really just this strange nowadays?
I think so, actually. Yes, that is very true. Also, I just think he is that type of guy who likes the fame, he enjoys it, and he flaunts it. Like, he dates really high-end celebrities, he posts everything on Instagram. I'm like, at least we know exactly what he's doing in his life at all times. So, not doing anything too sketchy, just kind of annoying sometimes.
Well, at least that's just annoying sometimes. That's better than, going out and doing some really bad stuff and getting bad public spotlight. But yeah, Derek, I think, do you want to close it off with any of the three players that we mentioned or anything? You got anything else that you want to say?
Well, if we're gonna go over these three players, I'm gonna rate the ones that we want to come over from first to last here. So I will go just because Trevor Zegras scares me a little. Don't know what we'll get out of it. We have line right now, so I want to help our defensive core. So I'd go with Chychrun first, then I go with Saros, then I go with Zegras if we had to have any of these players come to the team at this point.
Wow. Okay. Honestly, Derek, I hate to be a copycat, but I think I would follow along suit with you. I think no, maybe I'm wrong. Okay, I think I would go Chychrun, Zegras, then Saros, only because Saros is going to take the most to get. I'm gonna look at it based on that perspective. I'm gonna look at the cost, age too, and I guess contract. Chychrun, I don't think is going to cost a lot if you did trade for him, or at least as much as Saros is going to. And I don't think that his next contract is going to be as lucrative as a lot of people seem to think it is. Same thing with even Trevor Zegras. He comes in at a really team-friendly deal. He might cost a little bit more than a Chychrun, but I'm still willing to do it more than a Juuse Saros because Trevor Zegras is still very, very young, not even 23 years old yet, if he is right now. But yeah, that's the order: Chychrun, Zegras, and then Saros. Because we have Alex Lyon and he's the greatest number one tendy that the Red Wings have ever had. Yeah, let's go, boys. All right, Derek, I think we're good on that. Oh my God, you good over there? Stretching?
Yeah, my TV's real close to the back of my head here, so.
Okay. Well, Derek, yeah, let's go ahead and close it off then with some around the league news. And we're done, buddy. Great episode. Amazon is acquiring a minority stake in Diamond Sports Group, which is Bally Sports. The regional sports network filed for bankruptcy last year, putting local media rates for 37 teams across the NBA, MLB, and NHL in jeopardy. Now, customers can watch games on Amazon Prime. I don't think we have any more news on this, Derek. I'm very interested to see how the dynamic on this goes with Amazon being minority stake. So is Bally Sports still going to be an entity that we can watch on cable? Is it still a package we can buy? Or do we now have to go strictly off Amazon Prime? Is it going to be kind of like how ESPN is, like their ESPN Plus, where you can't watch local games, but you can watch out of market? What do you think?
I think they're going to kind of do what they do with like all those other little add-ons like Showtime, Peacock, all those little like Paramount things you see on Amazon that you can add into your subscription. It's probably going to be something like that, but hopefully a lot cheaper than the $20 we pay just to watch Bally right now, because I want to throw my goddamn TV or my computer or my phone out the window when I use Bally. It's atrocious, and this needed to happen really bad. And hopefully, just because Amazon's such a high-end marketplace for like Amazon Prime and whatnot, hopefully they help Bali out here get a little bit more structure and understanding how to stream properly.
I have a strange feeling that Amazon's going to start putting in more money than was anticipated, right? I really do think that. And Amazon, they're really trying to get their fingerprints on the sports market, not even just the NHL. Like I said, the NBA and the MLB. They already have an arena for the Seattle Kraken, for Pete's sake, the Climate Pledge Arena. Jeff Bezos already has his fingerprints pretty well into the NHL. Next thing you know, he's probably going to start buying NHL teams. Who knows?
I
But
mean,
yeah, I
Atlanta
think this
is
is
an
really.
owner.
It could be Atlanta's owner, yes, or put one in Salt Lake City, Utah. I'm still a firm believer. I think that would be a really great spot for a hockey team. But yeah, Derek, overall, I think this is great. I think Amazon, being a minority stake, I think that you can really help Bally Sports in a time of need. I think Bally probably just put in a lot of money during COVID, and now it's kind of falling back on them a little bit, much like a lot of companies did. And so, yeah, if I'm not going to be happy if I have to get Amazon Prime just to watch the Detroit Red Wings, but if it's kind of like an ESPN Plus situation where I can watch other teams that are supported by Bally Sports, I think that would be awesome. Would you agree?
Oh, I mean, more hockey. I'm okay with that. I mean, at that point, paying $20 to have multiple teams would be nice instead of just the three that we get to watch right now that are on different schedules, and I don't even care about watching. Unfortunately, the Pistons. So
I don't think really too many people are this year, Derek, but glad to see that they got more than 2 wins now. I think they're up to like 4 or 5. So go
woo,
them.
it's super sad.
All right, Derek. Shane Pinto signs 1-year deal with the Ottawa Senators for $775,000 for the 41 games remaining this season. For those of you that do not remember, Shane Pinto was suspended half this season for sports betting. Derek, is this a comeback for the Sens now?
Nope, they're going to actually be worse than what they were. Honestly, I don't know what's happening with them, so I don't think getting Shane Pinto back is going to do anything crazy. I mean, good for him for not being kicked out of the league. He made his 41 games. I remember when that happened. It seemed like it was like last week at this point, but yeah, I don't really see anything changing. You're not getting a star player. You're just getting Shane Pinto. He might be able to produce maybe, I don't know, a handful of points in these last 40 games, and that's about it.
He says you're just getting Shane Pinto. My goodness, the disrespect to that man. Okay, but no, you're absolutely right. I don't think anything really is going to change. They played last night. We're recording Sunday. It's 1:21 at 12:30 p.m. now. They do play today at 1 p.m. against the Flyers. They lost last night against the Winnipeg Jets 2-1 in overtime. It's far, Derek. I mean, in 41 games, they have 33 points. They're 8th in the Atlantic, so that's a long ladder to climb. So 41 games, anything is possible. We saw the St. Louis Blues do it, and they won the Stanley Cup final from being dead last in the league, pretty much, right? And so anything is possible. But to be honest, I don't think that they're going to come back. And
I don't think Shane Pinto is going to give them that big of a bump.
I just knocked on my table. It's made out of wood. So don't come back and bite me in the butt, please. Okay, Derek. It's kind of sad that Matt Leslie is not here, but the Islanders, the New York Islanders, fire Lane Lambert. Patrick Waaa takes over. I don't know why his last name is spelled R-O-Y and they pronounce it Waaa, Derek. That's very weird to me. That's French Canadian stuff that I'll never
Patrick
understand.
Roy all the time because it makes sense to me that I realize, wait, this is Patrick Waugh. What the hell am I saying?
Derek, I don't know if you remember, but about a year and a half ago, when the New York Islanders had Barry Trotz as their head coach, Barry Trotz was very interested in potentially becoming a general manager. Fast forward to now, he is for the Nashville Predators, right? They hired Lane Lambert because they thought he was going to be the next Barry Trotz, basically, and they did not want to lose him to other teams. Very defensive-minded coach, supposedly, and the world was his oyster with Lou Lamoriello. Lou Lamoriello. Oh my goodness, that is a mouthful. But Derek, yeah, fast forward once again, year and a half later, here we are. He's fired. and we're asking Matt about it. What's going on, Matt? We need a little context here. Matt says supposedly the fans or the players just did not like him. I think there's a little more behind it than just that. But yeah, after what I just told you, what are your thoughts on this? I think this is pretty crazy, but good on Patrick Waaa. I almost said Roy, but Waaa. Yeah.
I mean, I'm actually surprised Luke kept him here as long as he did this year with how the team's been playing. Honestly, they're not doing terrible, but they're not good. The Islanders are a pretty average team this year. They're not producing like they probably should with what they have on their team. Like, they have some great up-and-comers, like, even from their defensive core, like Dobson down there, who I'm happy to have on my fantasy team. Holy crap.
Yeah, he's having a great year. Yeah.
But man, it's a weird timing to switch it up. I mean, Lou does this all the time, apparently. He likes to change up coaches halfway through the season. So I'm not really shocked about that going on right now. I'm more shocked the fact that they brought Waaa in. He was a pretty interesting coach on the Avalanche. I mean, I kind of liked how he did well his first year. The last 2 years, they did atrocious, but watching him pull the goalie with like 10 minutes left in the third period, like, whoo, that was hilarious. Trying to fight the coaches on the other side of the bench. I'm like, bro, you don't got to break down the glass to fight. It's okay. That coach over there you're talking to is probably 80 years older than you. Calm down. But honestly, it's a switch up from what they just had. So,
yeah, I mean, the tenure that Patrick Waaa has had being a coach in the NHL, it's not the greatest track record, and there's a reason why he hasn't been a coach in the NHL since, right? From 2018, let's see here. So it says here on Google, Waaa had 2 coaching stints with the Ramparts from 2005 to 2013 and 2018 to 2023. So in between those times is when he basically was coaching in the NHL, right? And so from 2018 to 23. During the 22-23 season, Waaa coached the Ramparts to the club's 3rd Memorial Cup title. He then stepped down as the coach and GM of the Ramparts after winning that cup. And yeah, like I said, he was the Avalanche coach from 2013 to 2016. But yeah, it was a little shocking to hear the news. I think Patrick Waaa is a good replacement as much as any other. It could have been Mike Babcock, Derek. So good on the Islanders for actually.
Mike Babcock anymore.
Yeah, good on Lou Lamoriello for at least getting someone who has a good track record for players. I kind of want to know if Lou Lamoriello went into that locker room and was like, here's a list of coaches. I want all of you to vote on which coach you would rather have right now before I fire Lane Lambert.
I mean, honestly, probably worked that way. Like, that coach looks fun. Let's try him.
That coach looks fun. All right. But no, maybe this is a good boost for the Islanders. Maybe they get that new coach, new us mentality, and they keep trucking. But right now, yeah, you kind of mentioned it. They're not really doing as well as they probably thought they would. They have 49 points out of the 45 games that they played, 19, 15, 11 record. They're 6th in the Metropolitan. They're right behind, technically tied with the New Jersey Devils, but the New Jersey Devils have 1 less game played than they do. And they're barely ahead of Pittsburgh. The Metro is just as anyone's game as it is in the Atlantic, Derek. I mean, the Eastern Conference is very, very close. But hopefully for Matt and the Islanders, they seem to figure it out. Just, I hope it doesn't come at the cost of the Red Wings missing the playoffs. If it does, then I'm coming for your head, Matt Leslie. Just so you know. Derek, as we're recording, that was technically going to be our last Around the League news segment. But one last thing, David Pagnotta just came out saying on Twitter that it sounds like that there is traction being made between the Edmonton Oilers and free agent veteran forward Corey Perry, and the decision could come soon. Initial thoughts hearing that?
I want to know what he did. That's all I care about. I want to know. Like, what did he do? What did he say? Because obviously he had to say something. And I guess he said something inappropriate when he was drunk to someone who works for the team.
Yes.
I want to know what he said.
I think it's just a drinking problem. And we heard about that earlier in the year, it was with Alex Galchenyuk. Pretty similar situation. These hockey players need to chill out into drinking a little bit, I think, Derek.
They're partying a little too hard. I mean, I get it. If you're playing for Chicago, I mean, you probably have to pound a couple after each game to make yourself feel better, but
maybe before each game, too.
Yeah, I mean, a couple shots makes your body a little loose up. Doesn't hurt as bad when you get wrecked by a 230-pound man out there. Yeah, why not?
But yeah, all right. Well, good for the Edmonton Oilers, Derek. I guess.
Guys,
it's not a needle mover by any.
They're on a 13-game win streak right now, so they don't really need much help.
Yeah, I think this is. We'll just wait and see, right? Like I said, I don't think this is a needle mover. I think if anything, this probably puts you down maybe a little bit. Maybe it gives you a little more grit down low. That's what you tell Corey Perry to do. But good luck. Just let us know what you did. I really want to know. We both really want to know. But Derek, we're done, buddy. I think we can finally close it off here. Do you got anything else you want to say, or you just want to go into your final thoughts?
I'm good with final thoughts. Let's go Red Wings. Let's go Lions. Let's all beat Tampa today. Hopefully, when you guys watch this episode, we've got 2 dubs next to both our names, and the Lions are moving on to the semifinals. Let's go.
Dubs all around. All right, Derek, final thoughts are, let's go Lions versus the Bucks, 3 p.m. today. Final score is going to be 35-21 Lions. Red Wings versus Lions, or Red Wings versus the Lightning. Close enough. At 7 p.m. today. No Patrick Kane, like I said. No Billy Husso. Lions probably in nets, or Husso hopefully back next week. But yeah, I'm gonna guess the Red Wings win. I'm gonna go with the Kane score. It's gonna be 4-2. I think Lions locked in, and because Tampa Bay played last night, I think the Red Wings have a good dub on their hands here, coming and playing at home. So yeah, if you're downtown, be safe, have fun, do what you gotta do, but don't get in trouble. Yeah, after tonight's game, the Wings play the Stars at 7 p.m. Tuesday. So my final thoughts are: go Red Wings, go Lions, stay safe, have fun, everyone. And until next time, we'll see y'all on the next episode of Hockeytown University. Bye-bye.
Bye, y'all.